the Prime Minister referred to the people of Balochistan and to the suffering of the people there and their rights and the violation of their rights. I think we in this region need to be aware that the region now needs to go to a peaceful existence, away from violence, away from radicalism, away from the use of radicalism to undermine societies, to undermine countries. Therefore, the Prime Minister's remarks are well-timed and in support of the rights and peaceful living of the people of Balochistan, and for them to achieve progress like all other societies. It's a form of moral support. Mm-hmm. And if you cannot provide material support, moral support is always good to come. India is a wise country, and India will do all that it can to bring improvement to the standard of living and to the human rights situation of the people of Balochistan. All the support that it can provide. It's a capable country. It has its own indigenous capabilities and abilities, and this is what we have been seeking for a long time. Therefore, we will continue to ask India for supporting the Afghan forces, for providing all that it can to bolster our forces and the capability of our forces.
Are you specifically looking at the Afghan Air Force?
Air Force and ground forces. Air Force and ground forces. All of that. In training, you have good training institutions, good institutions in India for training of the army and the police and the officers of the army and the police. In training, in equipment, and in military hardware, where India can afford to help. That help will be much, much welcome and appreciated. India has been considerate of that. India has been very cautious on that front. India has, when I was the president, when I approached India for support, they didn't tell me that, but I understood that they were mindful of the Pakistani sensitivities and mindful also of the US sensitivities in this regard. But Afghanistan is an independent country, and India is an independent country. So India's support of Afghanistan must be based on this fact of the independence of the two countries and as strategic allies. Well, I did expect that things would go there, because in the absence of clarities, in the absence of legal framework, a situation like that was bound to happen. I wish them the best. I wish them cooperation and smooth functioning as a government. But I also want them to fulfill their pledge, their promise to the Afghan people for convening a Loya Jirga, so the Afghan people can decide on the future course of our country's constitution and constitutionality. The traditional Loya Jirga, ma'am, is the mother Jirga. Right. It's the Jirga that creates all other things. Right. So it's the mother. And the mother is all powerful. It can decide on how to modify and how to change and how to make a new decision. Very positive. The Afghan people do want a Jirga because this is our tradition. This is the strongest point of our tradition. Consultation, seeking advice, and in an egalitarian environment.
But
it's democratic, very democratic.
But have the main players, they have not made any statements about it, either President Ghani or Abdullah?
Not yet, but they did mention the document that they signed among themselves, the political document that they signed 2 years ago. They did refer to the Jirga as to be convened within 2 years. So I hope they will do that. They still have time to do it, and we will help them do it if they want to.
But that can only happen once elections take place, parliamentary elections.
So if we cannot do the constitutional Jirga, we always have the traditional Afghan Jirga available, where the people of Afghanistan from all walks of life, from all corners of the country, get together to decide on the future. Well, we opted for a presidential form of government. And therefore, it's now for the Afghan people to get together in the form of a jirga to decide whether we want to have a presidential form of government or a parliamentary democracy. Both are fine, both are good, both will function. So I'm okay with both. Not that better functioning of a state. At that time, the state institutions were non-existent at all. So we needed a presidential form of government to provide better functioning of the government machinery. Now we are in a better place. We have the institutions, we have the manpower, we have the educated lot that we need, the resources. So I believe if the Afghan people decide to go to a parliamentary form of government, it will be something that we can live with, that we will nurture and support. Absolutely, by all means, we had President Rahmani.
That was few years, 4 or 5 years.
One of our very respected leaders of Afghanistan. We cherished his leadership, and absolutely, it's a nation. And any citizen of Afghanistan, from any group of Afghanistan, is welcome and is entitled by the Afghan constitution to become the president. By all means.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's something that we've already enjoyed, and we love it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know who has interfered in the U.S. election. They were talking of Russian this email issue. That's all I've heard. The U.S. is known for interfering in other countries' elections. They interfered in our elections disastrously. So I hope they will not do that. And if I can interfere in the U.S. elections, I will. To let them have the taste of how interference feels. I don't know Mr. Trump. I don't know him. I will not interfere in the US elections. I cannot interfere in the US elections, unfortunately. I don't know Mr. Trump. I haven't met with him, so I don't know his views. But I know Mrs. Clinton, Hillary Clinton. I'm glad to call her a friend and someone with whom I've had extensive cooperation and engagement on issues between Afghanistan and the United States. I have immense respect for her, immense respect for her.